Have you ever sat in a quiet room, the world outside buzzing with life, yet you felt the heavy weight of silence pressing on your chest? Maybe you scrolled through your phone, saw smiling faces, groups of friends laughing, couples holding hands, and suddenly, your heart whispered, "Why am I alone?" Being alone can feel like punishment. Society often teaches us that happiness comes from relationships, from company, from someone else choosing us. But here's the truth: if your happiness depends only on others, then it is fragile, temporary, and easily broken. This journey is not about avoiding people, nor about pretending you don't need love, friendship, or community. It's about discovering something deeper. It's about learning the art of being happy alone, transforming solitude into strength, silence into clarity, and loneliness into freedom. You don't need to fear being alone. You don't need to see it as a curse. When embraced, solitude becomes one of the most powerful teachers in life. It teaches you who you are, what you value, and how to live without depending on the approval or presence of others. Happiness alone begins with understanding that loneliness and solitude are not the same. Loneliness is the painful feeling of being disconnected, unwanted, or left out. Solitude is a chosen state of being with yourself, peaceful, empowering, and deeply fulfilling. You can be in a crowded room, surrounded by hundreds of people, and still feel lonely, or you can sit in a quiet park, no one else around, and feel complete, whole, even joyful. The difference is not the presence of people, it's the state of your heart. Consider Daniel, who was always surrounded by friends in school and later at work. Deep inside, he felt empty. When the party was over and everyone went home, silence terrified him. He feared being with himself because he never truly knew who he was. That is loneliness. Now consider Grace, who also spends time with people but values her alone time. She paints, she reads, she walks alone, and she feels alive when the world is quiet. Her solitude is not loneliness, it is self-connection. Loneliness comes from the absence of others. Solitude comes from the presence of yourself. Psychologists describe loneliness as a lack of meaningful connection. It hurts because human beings are wired for love and belonging. But solitude is different, it's a choice to connect inwardly, to recharge, to reflect. Solitude is not an absence of connection, but a deeper form of connection with your own soul. When you begin to see solitude as a friend instead of an enemy, everything changes. The silence that once haunted you becomes healing. The emptiness that once frightened you becomes space for growth. Even spiritually, solitude has been honored across centuries. Prophets, saints, thinkers, and leaders often withdrew into quietness to seek wisdom. Moses climbed the mountain alone. Jesus went into the wilderness alone. Great poets and philosophers found their greatest inspirations in moments of solitude. Solitude is not a weakness. It is a strength that few people dare to embrace. Most run from it, because facing yourself is often harder than facing others. But once you dare to enter solitude, you begin to discover that happiness was never outside, it was always within you, waiting to be uncovered. Happiness alone also begins with reframing your mindset. Your mindset is the lens through which you see your solitude. If your thoughts whisper, "I'm alone because I'm unwanted. I'm alone because no one cares," then loneliness will eat at you like a shadow. But if you shift that thought into, "I am alone because this is my time to grow. I am alone because I deserve peace, because I need clarity, because I am learning to love myself," suddenly the same silence feels different. It feels like freedom. Think of solitude like a room. If you believe the room is a prison cell, you'll panic and want to escape. But if you believe the room is a sanctuary, a safe space to breathe, you'll relax and enjoy its calm. The room hasn't changed, your perspective has. Challenge the negative story in your mind. Every time it says, "I am alone because I am not enough," stop and ask yourself, is this true? Often, it's not. Being alone doesn't mean rejection. It doesn't mean failure. It can simply mean a pause, a chapter, or even a choice. Replace scarcity with abundance. Instead of thinking, "I lack company," remind yourself, "I am rich with time, freedom, and space to grow." Speak life into yourself. Affirmations may feel small, but words are powerful. Begin your mornings by saying, "I enjoy my own company, I am enough, peace lives inside me." Visualize your future self. Picture yourself 6 months from now, confident, strong, smiling alone, walking with a sense of peace. Feel what that future version of you feels. Hold that image whenever loneliness tries to creep in. Your thoughts create your emotions. Change your thoughts about solitude, and you change how solitude feels. Another key aspect of being happy alone is building a loving relationship with yourself. Ask yourself, do I actually like myself? It's easy to crave someone else's company when you haven't learned to enjoy your own. But the truth is, you are the one person who will never leave you. Friends may come and go. Lovers may enter and exit. Even family may not always be present. But you will always be there with yourself. To build self-love, start by journaling. Writing your thoughts on paper is like talking to your soul. Journaling clears the chaos in your head. It helps you see patterns in your emotions. Each page becomes proof that your voice matters, even if no one else is listening. Stand in front of a mirror and speak kindly to yourself. At first, it will feel awkward. But try saying, I'm proud of you. You're trying. You're growing. You are worthy. Slowly, the stranger in the mirror becomes your best friend. Treat yourself like someone you love. Think of how you'd care for a friend, listening, encouraging, forgiving. Now do the same for yourself. When you fail, don't be harsh. When you succeed, celebrate, even if no one else claps. Go on solo dates. Have coffee alone, watch a movie alone, take a walk with music or silence. Learn to enjoy activities without needing someone beside you. At first, it may feel uncomfortable. But over time, you'll discover freedom, the freedom of not waiting for anyone to validate your joy. Listen to your inner child. Inside you lives the younger version of yourself who once laughed easily, dreamed boldly, and believed anything was possible. Spend time reconnecting with that child. Ask, what do you need? What makes you happy? Then give yourself permission to live that joy again. When you build this loving relationship with yourself, solitude shifts. It no longer feels like being abandoned. It feels like spending time with someone you actually enjoy. Someone who makes you laugh, understands you, and supports you. That person is you. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they are alone is leaving their time unstructured. An empty day can quickly turn into overthinking, boredom, or endless scrolling on your phone. The antidote is purposeful routine and joyful hobbies. A routine does not have to be strict. It is not about military schedules or robotic living. It is about giving shape to your day so that solitude feels productive and meaningful instead of empty. Start your day with a habit that centers you: prayer, meditation, stretching, journaling, or reading something uplifting. Even 10 minutes can set the tone for your entire day. Physical movement is equally important. Exercise is not just for the body, it is medicine for the mind. A walk, yoga, gym, or even dancing alone in your room brings energy and confidence. Your body releases endorphins, chemicals that naturally fight sadness. Use your alone time to expand. Take an online course, learn an instrument, or try a new recipe. Growth creates excitement, and excitement destroys loneliness. Hobbies like painting, writing, singing, gardening, or photography give your solitude meaning. They turn empty hours into moments of creation. The more you create, the more you feel alive. End your day with calm. Write in a gratitude journal, read, or listen to peaceful music. This helps your mind rest instead of racing into the night. Choose what makes you smile. Maybe it is silly, maybe it is nerdy, maybe it is unusual, but if it sparks joy, it matters. There is a hidden power in solitude that many overlook, the ability to notice life more deeply. When you are constantly surrounded by people, noise, and distractions, you rarely pause to appreciate the simple, beautiful things around you. But when you are alone, you have the perfect chance to practice gratitude and mindfulness. Gratitude is the act of focusing on what is present instead of what is missing. Mindfulness is the practice of living in the moment instead of being lost in the past or future. Together, they transform your solitude into a sanctuary of peace. Every day, write down 3 things you are thankful for. They do not have to be big. Maybe it is the taste of your morning tea, the sound of birds, or simply the fact that you have a roof over your head. Sit in silence and breathe slowly, paying attention to each inhale and exhale. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back to the breath. Walk slowly and notice your steps. Feel the ground under your feet, listen to the sounds around you, observe the colors of the world. Even a short walk becomes a meditation. Savor small moments. When you eat, really taste your food. When you drink water, notice its freshness. When you shower, feel the warmth of the water. These little mindful acts remind you that happiness is often found in the smallest details. Aloneness is not just about the mind or the body, it is also about the soul. Solitude is a sacred doorway into spiritual growth. Many of the world's greatest teachers and thinkers understood this. They did not fear silence, they sought it. Moses climbed Mount Sinai alone to meet God. Jesus withdrew into the wilderness to pray. Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree in silence until enlightenment came. Even modern philosophers and poets have written that solitude is the soil where wisdom grows. When the noise of the world fades, the whisper of your soul becomes clearer. Use your quiet moments to connect with something greater than yourself. Ask yourself deep questions. Who am I becoming? What do I truly value? What kind of life do I want to live? Writing down your answers in solitude brings clarity that constant busyness cannot provide. Spend time with texts that nourish your spirit, the Bible, poetry, philosophy, or inspiring biographies. Let wisdom from those who walked before you guide your steps. Do not be afraid of silence. Instead of rushing to fill it with music, shows, or conversations, sit with it. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, but over time, silence becomes a gentle friend, teaching patience, listening, and stillness. Being happy alone does not mean cutting off the world completely. Human beings are wired for connection. But the difference is that you no longer depend on others for happiness. You choose connection because you enjoy it, not because you are afraid of being alone. Learning to be happy by yourself allows you to build healthier, freer, and more balanced relationships. When you are not afraid of being alone, you do not cling to toxic friendships or unhealthy relationships. You stop chasing people who do not value you. Instead, you wait for genuine connections. You no longer need a crowd. A few deep, meaningful connections are enough. Because you are already content, you bring peace into those relationships instead of pressure. Practicing mindfulness and self-reflection in solitude makes you more present with others. Solitude teaches you what you need to feel balanced. This makes it easier to say no to draining people or overwhelming social demands. Boundaries protect your peace, and people respect those who respect themselves. When you are already happy alone, being with others becomes a bonus instead of a necessity. You share joy rather than seeking it. You give love instead of begging for it. Sometimes solitude is not a choice. Sometimes it comes from heartbreak, rejection, loss, or betrayal. In those moments, being alone feels less like a gift and more like a wound. But pain does not have to destroy you. It can shape you. It can become the fire that forges your strength, your wisdom, and your purpose. Consider Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison yet came out with forgiveness and vision. J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter in solitude after struggling with poverty and depression. Countless everyday people rebuild their lives after breakups, grief, or rejection, finding new meaning in the process. Allow yourself to feel your emotions fully. Cry if you must. Journal your pain. Pray through it. Ask yourself what your pain can teach you. Instead of only asking, "Why me?" ask, "What can I learn from this? What strength is being born in me through this?" Channel your pain into creation. Write, paint, build, or start a new project. Many of the greatest works of art and innovation were born out of suffering. Your pain can become someone else's inspiration. When you heal, your wounds become wisdom. You can guide others who walk through similar valleys. Your story may be the light they need. Believe that solitude will not last forever. Every season changes. Just because you are alone today does not mean you always will be. Trust the process. Your healing will open doors to new beginnings.